Oh boy, I sure do hope that the Beyond the Gates reveals this month aren't as disappointing as last month's, per se.
Stop posting about Quibbly!
Let's see what they reveal this time.
I'm at the
Well, now that that's out of the way. Huh?
朋友是一个坚韧不拔的纪录片，在香港这座城市的设置，主演前和。
Well, this video is getting banned in China. So, as many of you guys know, I've wanted a Hammond Allosaurus for ages, and I mean ages. Like, I've made 2 customs. One I wished I made in 2022, which ended up getting destroyed by my own antics. And the other one is still around, and it is based off of the one from Dominion. And everyone liked the custom. It gained like 20,000 views, which is like my most popular video of this year. So, yeah. And ever since the Allosaurus has been announced, people have been telling me left and right that the Allosaurus is now official and stuff. So, yay. Anyways, let's get into the video. Sorry. Oh, and for the record, if I sound like I'm dying or if I sound sick, I'm not. I just lost my voice. So, right off the bat here, we have one of the best figures ever, in my opinion. Well, I mean, that title still gets held to die low until I get this thing. But, yeah, this figure is tremendous. And whenever I say tremendous, I mean like, oh my goodness, it's so tremendous. But anyway, so, as we can see, this figure's box is pretty decent. It's going to be scaled in with the Carnotaurus, and, yeah. So, this figure is quite amazing. It has a really long tail. It's actually one piece this time, which is pretty cool. And, overall, it's just a major improvement from other Hammond collection figures. Now, right off the bat, this figure looks pretty accurate to the source material, actually. And there are a couple of quirks with this thing which aren't too bad, in my opinion, but are still kind of Well, actually, there's like 3. Because first of all, I mean, all the osteoderms on this thing, which, yes, while the Allosaurus probably did have those in the film, I actually hadn't really seen any of the films. I hadn't seen Battle of Big Rock in years, okay? And while they do have that in the film, it just makes it look too much like a crocodile to me. And second of all, the head feels a little bit small to me. I don't know why, it just feels pretty small. And also, the neck seems to be quite long. A bit longer than I expected it to be. Which, I mean, I guess it's okay. And also, the feet are kind of cartoony and goofy. And so far, everything else on this figure looked menacing. But, I mean, you can't expect perfection from Mattel, because I coined this thing called the Mattel Law, where anytime Mattel makes a Jurassic World figure, they will find a way to screw it up no matter what. But anyways, so let's get into the actual figure itself. So this figure is quite amazing, as you may have been hearing me. And, yeah, it's quite amazing. Now, it is just pretty much dark blue and beige with some other colors on its face, but, I mean, that's okay. That's, like, the main color of this figure anyway. I mean, not everything's supposed to be vibrant. But, yeah. And, apparently, this figure is going to be released in January of 2025.
I am Dick. I am the leader of all of these idiots.
Oh, here I am! Hibbity hobbity hoo! What's going on, Dick man?
Okay, so apparently this exists. Now, the Hammond Collection Baby Triceratops is quite unexpected for me. I didn't even know this thing was, like, in the franchise, like, at all. I mean, yes, obviously all dinosaurs in the franchise probably started off as babies, but the Triceratops? I never really saw it. But anyways, this figure is actually quite decent. And it's definitely a much better improvement than the glorified brick that was the Hammond Collection Triceratops of 2022. And one thing that is the biggest highlight of this figure is that there's wrist articulation on this thing. Something that hadn't been seen since, like, never actually, because none of the small figures ever had wrist articulation. Not even the baby Stegosaurus had it. And hell, not even the Dimetrodon had wrist articulation. So this is the very first small dinosaur to ever have wrist articulation. Now the tail, I don't know. I don't know if that's meant to be like a solid piece of plastic or if there's a little wire in there. I'm assuming it's a solid piece of plastic because it's quite short and there's no reason for it to bend. But a little bit sad that they didn't make it double segmented like how they did with the Stegosaurus or the Triceratops that was made in 2022 beforehand. But overall, the baby Triceratops is actually quite decent. I mean, it's gray, it has some green on its back, which I like to call baby algae, and it even has a white underbelly. Now, what is disappointing about this figure is that it doesn't have an articulation point at the base of its neck, but I mean, that's okay, really. I mean, you can't really ask for too much on this figure. Just wish they could have done it like how they did with the baby Stegosaurus. But then again, it's Mattel, and they're bound to screw everything up. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.